Hello there, discussion time with Mark 6 Plus, unscripted as per normal, straight off the cuff. And it is about the old world and 3D printing. How it's interesting that 3D printing, in the terms of old world, is seeming to be vastly accepted better than their other game systems, and maybe why it has been accepted more quickly and more broadly than, say, for example, Age of Sigmar, 40k, and 30k. So, you go on Google, you type in the old world, you get their introductory blog video about it all, and not going to tell you how to suck eggs. It's very, very straightforward. Tomb Kings, Bretonia, explaining some of the lore, explaining the miniatures behind it, so on and so forth. Stay up to date, blah, blah, blah. Oh, and a nice world map, community. Alright, you want to go on there? Now, if you do want to go onto the website to purchase their two races at this moment in time, I'm currently stuck in a queue because there's a pre-order. Gamesworkshop, very, very big, very big business. Their website does struggle when it's, especially when there's a pre-order weekend or anything like that, it's going to get flooded. So, I think that's one of the factors of why 3D printing is so prevalent in it. This is one of the factors, is you may genuinely struggle to get hold of the authentic miniatures, okay? Because I know for a fact, if you don't live in the United Kingdom, it is very, very expensive. Obviously, money is a personal thing. How much you quantify stuff, it's for each and every person to decide themselves. Alright? And I think that's part of the 3D printing mindset. Secondly, fantasy has not been supported from Games Workshop for over 8 years. So if people wanted to get into fantasy, because this is the old world, I'm just encompassing it, this is fantasy. Alright, this is regimented gaming. You either had to buy out of production miniatures, buy hopefully miniatures that were still in AOS, or get alternate sculpts, whether that was alternate firms, resin firms, or 3D print, either through Etsy, eBay, or your own means. So the mindset of the community went more towards accepting this as a means to an end of allowing people to still game. You know, you may get your character metal miniatures, your lords, your heroes, your named units, but your rank and file standard units, your pikemen, your warriors, your cavalry, you will get alternate models to fit that role. So say for example you want to get into 3D printing, because that's another thing. The old world has only launched at this moment in time with Bretonians and Tomb Kings. You may struggle to get miniatures for that other core factions. Now, some of the models will be in AOS, Age of Sigmar, that you can still buy, but other models are not. So it is an interesting concept. But if you are looking at printing your own ones because you want them all from the same sculptor, all from the same design, which we'll go over in a minute, 3D printing is getting cheaper and easier as time goes by, like any technology. So you just go on Amazon and you get yourself a resin 3D printer. You got the Elegoo here for £190. You got the Anycubics, £200, so on and so forth. Now, I will be doing a video down the line about getting into 3D printing. But let's just say you can get into 3D printing and all this and all that for like £300. Alright? That does include some resin to start off with, protective gear, cleaning, all this and all that. That's £300. Alright? Now you may be saying, well, Mark, these box sets that Games Workshop are coming out with aren't £300, which they're not. They're not. United Kingdom, what was it? 155 to 180. 150 to 180. It comes with a starter army and your core rulebook to get up, to start with, and a quick reference guide. Brilliant. Brilliant. But if you want to expand from that, I can't show you because the website is not showing it. But dare I say it, Tomb King Ushabti, for example, Grail Knights, for example, other units you want to get, they're spicy in their pricing. So you start looking at it, and yes, if you only print out 1 or 2 things from 3D printing, you're not really going to make a saving. As soon as you then start printing an army or 2 armies, you are making a potential saving. And it gets more tempting. Now, you can still then support the old world by buying their books, by buying the supplements, and, potentially dice and named characters when they bring out the models. But at this moment in time, I think the community, like I harken back, it's became more accepting of these alternate sculpts for that reason. So then we go on to, you got Patreons, for example. I got a few here that I look over. You got Mom Miniatures, which do a very different take on dwarves, as in forest dwarves and other ones. You then got Titan Forge. You've got one-page rules. Loads of different firms out there that for X pounds a month, you will get a force of some description. And then you can print them. You're not having to wait for it to be in stock. The only thing you're waiting for is you to either have the resin, the files, and the time to actually print it. And I think that's another reason why people became more accepting of it. Because it's been there for many years now. You can go onto Kickstarters, type in miniatures, keep an eye out for, tabletop miniatures that are coming out, and just be like, oh, by the way, the Orc Legendary Warriors Regiment, physical forge, so on and so forth. You got other different ones that you can go on here and be like, oh, these are interesting. Or then you go more direct, you go, I'm going to go onto my mini factory and look at firms that do bundles of armies, and I like their aesthetic, I like the way they're designed, and so on and so forth. So you got ones such as the Dragon Trappers Lodge. You go on here, oh, I really like, for example, their Sea Lords, or their just multitude of different ones here. You can go, I really like the look of it, and you can print it out. And as long as you and your friends are happy to play with those miniatures because they represent what they need to represent. They represent orcs, they represent dwarves, they represent whatever. In the scale of the old world, it's great. You got Titan Forge then, like I said, with the Patreon. Oh, you want to have Wood Elves, or Skaven Proxy, or Goblins, or whatever. You've got options. One-page rules is a very big known business now in the mindscape of game systems and STL files. So it's just getting bigger and bigger. And then you got other ones, Max Mini, where it's just more quirky halflings, but also you've got ogres, you got undead, you got elves as well. So there's multiple different firms out there that facilitate these models that may not be getting released by Games Workshop. Then you may be going, what about bases? Oh, you just go on there, type in square bases, you get the files for square bases. But then go in here, you got, this is one thing that I've noticed on YouTube. There's a lot on there now that are going base adapters. So you go from your 20mm square bases, use a base adapter, You go up to a footprint of a 25mm. That is becoming more and more prevalent because people don't want to be rebasing their models that they've already got. Use the base adapters. What's to say you couldn't then use those models in other game systems? One-page rules, 9th Age, Armies Project, Kings of War. You don't just then have to be stuck in the old world. And I genuinely like that. I like the idea that Games Workshop need to be aware of this, and they most likely are. That there is more accepting in the community to have alternate sculpts. Okay, this is just 3D printing. This is not me talking about other businesses that generate physical alternate models. This is just 3D printing. So yes, if you are just printing off one army, may not be worth it. But as soon as you start thinking, I wouldn't mind doing dwarves, and I wouldn't mind doing wood elves, it can start being more worth it. But it's totally it's always up to yourself. It's your money and it's your time after all. But I will say the technology behind 3D printing is getting far, far better. And the designs out there are just getting phenomenal. And yes, the community around it is more accepting than any other game system Games Workshop does. So, you know, even staunch Games Workshop YouTube creators are showing off these gaming accessory bits, these movement tray adapters and stuff like that. And yeah, it just got in my mind going, this is very accepting. And it's very interesting to see what's out there and the options. So, you know, if you are down because of the legacy rules, for example, the armies and factions that aren't going to be supported at this moment in time, you can still get your miniatures in other routes, other avenues through 3D printing. But yes, if you have enjoyed this off the script discussion, hit the like, comment down below what you think of it. I'm really interested to see what people think of this as an option. I may then do another video showing off actual firms that produce hard miniatures as alternates, not just 3D printing. But as always, thank you so very, very much for watching through to the end. It means the absolute world to me. Like, comment, subscribe. Look down in the description. There's affiliate links and social media links such as Discord. But as always, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones. Ta-ra for now.